Hello there Hollows and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be discussing a game which I really like and a game that appeals to me in the same way that the Dark Souls games always have. Now this game isn't really a Souls-like at all, at least not in the traditional way you define a Souls-like. However, I'd argue that to me it's more of a Souls-like than games like Titan Souls and Hollow Knight. But before we get into the video though, let me know what is your personal favourite Souls-like, or even just a game that appealed to you in the same way that the Dark Souls franchise appealed to you. Is there a game out there that scratched that same itch that Dark Souls scratches? Let me know down below, and it'd be really interesting to see what games you comment down there. Now that game for me is Trials, or the Trials franchise. This series I started liking around the same time I fell in love with Dark Souls. At that period in my life I think I was really craving some challenging games with fluid controls and tough obstacles. And the Dark Souls franchise and the Trials franchise both appeal to me in the same way at the same time. Now, in Dark Souls, you have very fluid controls that feel silky smooth, and moving your avatar also feels silky smooth, and you need to use the tools that are at your disposal to try and overcome massive obstacles that block your path. You need to spend a long time trying to figure out exactly what it is that you need to do to overcome that challenge that is presented in front of you, and at first, it seems insurmountable. The Trials franchise really does the exact same thing. At first, the game just presents itself as being quite a simple motorbike game. By the time you progress towards the extreme difficulty tracks, the challenges are so hard, and getting a simple bronze medal, which is the easiest one to get, sometimes becomes a challenge. Then over time you get more and more confident and more comfortable with the controls, you learn more and more skills, and then eventually you go back to those same tracks with your newfound skills, and you can get a gold medal on them, or even a platinum one, when you've truly mastered the challenges that the game has thrown at you. Now, the earlier entries in the Trials franchise have been they got more difficult controls to get to grips with, and like Dark Souls, as the series has progressed, the controls have become faster, tighter, and more easy to control. However, the obstacles have also become more difficult to get past in a similar way to how the bosses have gotten faster and more difficult in recent entries in the Souls franchise. Now, if overcoming a high difficulty is the main thing that appeals to you about the Souls franchise, then I would highly recommend the Trials franchise to you. However, I would start with Trials Evolution, the game which I'm showing on the screen currently. It's possibly the best balance between smooth controls and good solid tracks. However, the user-created tracks are no longer available. And that's one thing I haven't addressed actually, the ability for users to create their own tracks through an in-depth and powerful map editor. This allows the game to have infinite replayability, so despite the fact that it's flawed I suppose, if you want to get involved with the community, I'd probably recommend the latest entry, Trials Rising. The game is very flawed mainly because unlocking all of the tracks involves a lot of very tedious grinding, but once you get past that, the game still controls really well and has probably the most tracks and some of the hardest ones that the series has ever had to offer. Now sadly the Trials series is looking like it's died now, due to the issues with the latest entry and the low sales of this title. However, the community tracks in Trials Rising are still releasing regularly, and there's even an amazing user-created Elden Ring track which looks really good, has amazing graphics, is really long, and it's so fun to get through, so there's a crossover available right there if any of you want to check out this title. I'm a massive fan of the Trials franchise as a whole, and for me personally it's always scratched that exact same itch that Dark Souls does, and unfortunately it's a really underrated and very small franchise that's never really gotten the chance to shine that I think it should do. For me personally, I would say it's my favourite personal Souls-like. Anyway, I have a full analysis video discussing the first Trials game that was widely available called Trials HD on my channel if you want to hear more of my opinions on this franchise. And that video I'll have linked for you down in the description. Anyway, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe if you liked it, and maybe even become a member if you really liked it. Thank you again for watching. This is SoulReborn signing out. Have a good one.